felt different kind of temperatures.
Yeah. I'm feeling something in here as well right now. Yeah.
Yeah, like pretty strong.
It's really, really strong. It's a little overwhelming, actually.
Yeah. Today we're visiting Port McNicoll, where we're going to go and explore the SS Keewatin.
Yeah, the SS Kiwatin is a huge passenger ship that was built in 1907.
We've heard a lot of stories about paranormal activity that has all gone on there.
Lots of great stories, and hopefully we'll get a chance to experience some for ourselves.
Let's go check it out.
Okay, well, welcome aboard Keewatin, hull number 453. The idea behind these vessels was in the 1880s there was a railway system, but complements of the Canadian Shield, it made for very steep, treacherous hills for the steam trains. So why not use the Great Lakes? So Canadian Pacific Railway commissioned 3 ships to form the Canadian Pacific Steamship Lines, and the idea worked. So they grew their fleet when they purchased flagship Assiniboia and her twin, the Keewatin.
When the owner of the ship in the United States was having trouble with his only son, who gave an interview to the Grand Rapids newspaper saying that as soon as his old man died, he was cutting it up for scrap and antiques, and then put it front page of the Grand Rapids newspaper, Keewatin to be scrapped. The father called me and asked me to come to see him and could I help him. Within 2.5 to 3 weeks, I had raised the $2.5 million to buy the ship, get it ready, and bring it back.
And now, is there anything that any experiences you ever had within this area?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Is there anything you can feel like sharing?
Well, usually it hasn't happened this season, but right where this cart is, there's usually a gray figure that looks like a man just standing there. He seems a little confused, and you just see him for a quick, brief moment, and then he's gone. A gentleman in a black wool coat walked by me, and there was somebody in the gift shop, and all of a sudden I felt funny. I thought somebody walked by me, and he goes, "Whoa!" And I'm like, "What?" And he said somebody was on the computer screen, kind of flashed in and out, and it did come back on. It happened again during our ghost tours, where this man had walked past, and there was motion sensor equipment from an investigative team, and the sensors just went ballistic. And I had described to him, it's a man, maybe 5'7", in a black wool coat. The coat that I had seen, they showed me pictures. It dates back to the 1920s, the gentleman's wool coat. So they had listed that as an intelligent haunt.
Oh, that's amazing.
Wow. So you actually see
A full apparition, basically. Yes.
The minute I set foot on the boat, I had, for lack of a better word, an aura of feeling my mother on the ship. Turns out I hadn't thought about that in many years, but when she was in her 20s and working for Eaton's in downtown Toronto, the people she worked with decided to buy her a ticket on this ship to take her to Owen Sound to see her sister, because she hadn't seen her sister in a pretty long time. So it was kind of interesting. The minute I stepped on the boat, bang, there she was, this feeling of her being here.
This is our awning deck, or lower deck. It's our passenger salon. Always whitewashed. And somebody just walked by.
What?
Somebody just walked by again. Okay.
You okay?
Yeah. Just
Walking
left
by
to right.
just like right here?
Right across in front of the
Getting
ships.
super goosebumps.
That's what happened to me this morning.
If you're here, we're not here to disrupt anything. We're just learning about the beautiful ship.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, by the way, don't mind Justine.
Yeah, thanks.
We had a mannequin donated to the ship, and it was a female mannequin, a little girl, so we called her Justine. She ended up in a hallway and pretty much was scaring people. The look that this mannequin had was scaring people.
Oh, wow.
The other side.
I knew something was there and I just heard the story.
I'm going up a set of stairs, and I got to the top of the stairs and a door slammed. I went to walk down that hallway because there was a door that was out onto the promenade deck with a hook. I thought that door had slammed. Well, it hadn't. And when I turned around and come back, the door opened. And when I looked inside, Justine is in there facing the corner.
I haven't heard funny noises, nobody's whispered in my ear, I haven't been brushed at night, but I have, I've heard stories that lead me to believe that there probably is a spirit. I do believe the ship has some form of really good luck. If I could turn it into lottery tickets, I'd be a wealthy man. But everything that seems to go on with us tends to help us. Like we had no money when we got back. And to make this thing really well known, you've got to spend a lot of money on advertising. Well, within the first few weeks we were back, I got a call from a guy who said he was in the television business and he'd like to do a TV shoot on the ship. And would I be interested? And I'd never done a TV shoot either. So I said to the guy, what's your TV show? He said, oh, it's a murder mystery called Murdoch. And I said, never heard of it. But we ended up doing the Murdoch mystery, and to this day, I now have people from all over the world who see Murdoch mystery in its many forms. It's still running, coming to see Keewatin, even though in the movie it sank. So that was, again, a circumstance that really put us on the map.
Felt different. Kind of pictures.
I'm feeling something in you as well
Me too.
right now. Yeah.
Yeah, like pretty strong.
It's really, really strong. It's a little overwhelming, actually.
Yeah.
A little bit newish because of the 50s redecorating. The energy that there's a woman in here with us right now. Actually, there's a woman. Okay, the story that goes, this is one of the original Queen Anne writing desks, and a gentleman, he was on night watch and he was doing his rounds. And he had come in here and he had, ma'am, are you okay? And she had asked for a glass of water, and he left. There's a washroom just around the corner to grab a glass of water. And when he came back, she was not there anymore. And it happened a couple of times, and then he actually watched to see who this lady is. And when they got to the port, he made sure he positioned himself at the purser's office to watch her board disembark, and she never did. He couldn't identify her. So there has been, that has been documented through the years. I can't remember what date exactly, but that was when she was still in service as a passenger liner that this has happened. And usually there's a lady that would be in this corner by the table and chairs, yeah?
It feels colder on this side as opposed to here.
Yeah.
So I am personally.
And my head's starting to spin a little bit.
Okay, let's step out
Yeah.
then.
Out in the parking lot one day, Michelle kept telling me she was going to come on the boat. And she was hesitant. And I said, what's wrong? And she says, you can't see it, can you? And I looked at the boat. What are you talking about? And when she was looking from the other side of the parking lot in, she could see people dancing in the dining room. And I'm looking and I says, well, I don't see them. But I says, you're not going on the ship until I go on with you, are you? And she says, no. So I come on the ship and then the feeling's gone. So, but those are the things that have happened to me.
Do you want to take a moment?
No, it's not that strong yet. I will let you know.
Make sure you let us know.
Yeah.
Because it's funny, as soon as you walked in there, I felt
You
like...
could feel
Because
it.
as I was saying, I've been feeling a bit dizzy, and then I was like, whoosh, in there.
Yes, it is, and I still feel it here as well.
Yeah.
The story behind this space is that it usually happens with people who visit for the first time. I've seen it a couple of times. A gentleman in the crumpled suit, as they call him. And usually he'll walk around you with the tours, and then you'll just see a man, kind of short man in this crumpled suit wandering around. And the mayor in Michigan saw as well, or him. She saw him, when she was on board. He was just there. Yeah.
When you walk from the ballroom down that back narrow staircase to the bottom, you'll find a distinct temperature change, okay? And it's always been there. Now there's nothing back there. There's no air conditioning, there's no ventilation. It's not near any of the open portholes, but there is this area where it's distinctly cold at the bottom of the stairs. Now over the years, we've had various people come and do ghost hunters and things like that. They all tell me that that's a place where the spirits hang out.
So this is all once again behind the scenes. This is back then they used it as maintenance. We use this today for our maintenance as well. So we don't really bring anybody back here. This is one of the spots where I am really uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, I can see why.
Yeah. Because he's natural gas, or.
Especially there. Well, we keep everything oil and lubed because this engine is fully operational.
All right.
This down here is our boiler room. And that's where we will be headed now.
Nice.
Off to you. It's my
We go
favorite
here.
room, yes. Yes, she goes on forever.
Wow.
Just mind your head and your step.
Let's go take a look through this room.
So this is our engine room. This work of right behind you actually, that is the original electric panel. And it's on a slate board. And in these two dynamos, they're powered by steam. And they produce a DC electrical current for the entire vessel. This work of art behind me is our quadruple dual acting expansion reciprocal steam engine.
We'll say that. I was gonna say that 5 times.
This engine is fully operational to this very day. That's why you
Oh,
smell
wow.
the oil and lube.
That's what we were smelling.
Yeah, it still runs. Because one of our retired volunteers had connected a horsepower compressor to it, so it runs on compressed air. It's really beautiful.
wow.
I can turn it on for you if you'd like to see it, or
Sure, I would love
why
to
not?
say. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Crystal, can you flip the switch for me? We can only give it 35 horses, so it's going a little
Yeah.
bit slow.
Oh, you can
So this piston's coming down, as you can see, and this one is going up.
Oh, there, yeah.
And that compressor is noisy compared to steam. Steam was whisper quiet. They could have a normal conversation down here. You'd hear the chugging along of the pistons, but it wasn't a very noisy machine. And it seems like a complicated mess of, oh my gosh, but it's a very simple technology. It's very easy to learn. Just a lot of nooks and crannies because everything is hand-fed.
Wow.
It's a lot of fun learning how to take care and maintain this technology.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
I've had several of the tour guides over the years tell me stories. Down in the engine room underneath, there's a catwalk above, and he stands in there talking to the people out there, explaining about the engine room and about the day it was launched and so on, and talk about breaking the champagne over the front and who the woman was that did it. And as he's telling this, all of a sudden there's a smash, and behind him on the floor is a broken light bulb. Now there's no light sockets above him, and there's a catwalk. So the light bulb had to go out and around and come back in or come from somewhere else. And the only people in the room were a dozen tourists and him standing underneath the catwalk.
So there was no light bulbs, no anything that could have come from up there on the third story.
Oh, wow.
You got your sea legs on?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's quite a lot of activity down here as well.
Eric took me through the ship. We walked through the ship. First time for me being on it and to show me around because telling me the things he wanted me to do. In the cargo hold down below, you go down a set of stairs, you walk through an opening that we have closed off. And I felt a feeling there, but it wasn't strong. You go through that cargo hold into the forward cargo hold, and I had a really strange feeling coming over me that this was such a comfortable place to be. And if you go down and see that, it's just a great big box. But to me, it felt like a place I could hang out, live there, whatever. And I turned and told Eric that, and he said, well, a lot of people get these feelings in the ship. So this is the room here that is just, to me, the greatest room. Bunch of stuff here.
Oh, you all right?
There's something about this
Oh,
that
yeah.
just puts me at peace. I almost feel like
It's
I've got
very-
breeze blowing on me. I
Yeah.
love this. I don't know if it's the orange. I don't know what it is.
The lighting, I
But
don't know what it
love
is.
this.
And this is the first place it doesn't feel like you're on a ship for some reason. It's funny because it does, having watched through this whole ship, I felt very dizzy, sometimes a little disoriented, and just in here, it's all gone. Like I feel like it's clear, I feel like my head is clear, I feel like a little
There's
more
still
relaxed.
an aroma of the staleness, but it's not offensive.
No.
It's just a very, very calming.
Are you guys ready to find some ghosts? Like we'll just go and do our investigation.
Let's head up and figure out the game plan then.
Yeah. Let's do it quick.
Awesome.
Odd, actually. See that?
Yeah. As I'm standing here, I'm kind of feeling like something's doing this to the back of my neck.
Yeah, that's how I was feeling early on when we first came this way.
James, when you get a second, can you check the back of my neck?
Somebody touched my leg. A cold hand on my leg.
Which is weird because it's
Yeah.
same occasion. I hear like almost like a hissing, like something in this area. And we thought we saw something here, so I feel like it's within this pocket. I could be wrong. Do you want us to leave?
Still.
To me, it looks like yes.
Gosh, it's hot up here.
It's very hot. Can you look beside me? Please. Look on my right side.
Going through the footage when you said, can you take a picture behind me? And then Nate panned back and it looked like like someone walked
Yeah.
away from you
footage.
behind on the wall, like a reflection on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And again, there was just us in the room at that point. I think everybody else was behind us.
Yeah.
Um,
How long was her dress, just out of curiosity? The woman who's dressed, like the one who's dancing?
It's not a very long, it's a long dress. Maybe that length.
Just a couple of times I felt like a brush of like a fabric on my leg.
yeah, it wouldn't have been anybody's reflection.
No, it still creeps me out looking
It's
at
weird.
that footage.
It was the
And when
timing,
you
right? When
say,
you said take the picture
is
and
there
then
someone behind me? And then in
you
the
see
footage
it.
you see something's there. It's, it's a weird thing with your mind where you're like, well, maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm just caught up in the moment of everything. But then when you see something in the footage that shows that you were correct, it's really crazy.
I feel like we've been getting some pretty solid evidence that there's
Yeah.
supernatural something going on, like different forces at work.
story about this room is that usually spring and fall, they would see a man on duty up here and in the wheelhouse. And then when we were doing an investigation the one time, I could actually hear boots, people walking above, up here.
Different rooms had different energies in it. I don't think any room ever felt like get out right now for us. Everything was quite not inviting necessarily, but nothing that was like made me not want to stay.
I didn't feel any negative
No.
energy really. Not that I could. It seemed like there's something there, but it didn't seem like painful or anything.
I definitely felt like something was with us a lot.
Does anyone play the piano?
Not well.
On tours, they would come from a tour and say that it's really nice you have people dressed in period costumes. And said, we don't have people dressed in period costumes. So you never know what you can encounter on this level.
Well, when you go up, you'll find a grand piano in a hallway that's 2 stories high. People follow the tour guide, and he stops at the piano, and he tells them to go and look at the rooms down the other side. So these people went down and looked at the rooms at the other side, and as he goes to turn, a lady comes up beside him, and she said, you know, this is really fantastic. She said, and I really like the way you've got costume characters. And he said, we don't have any costume characters. And she said, yes, what about this lady in the white dress? And pointed to the end of the piano, and she said, where'd she go? So I firmly believe that this ship does have a spirit. The fact that it survived all these years and 3,800 other ones didn't. The fact that everything that we have done to preserve this ship has been helped us by a series of circumstances. From getting the opportunity to buy it, of being able to raise the $2.5 million within 3 weeks, to getting a dredging permit from the state of Michigan in 6 weeks to take 137,000 cubic yards of material from the Kalamazoo River that is contaminated and put it on the shore. That we were able to dredge the only winter when the Great Lakes haven't frozen in the last 100 years. You know, just different things. When we came home, it was all sunshine all the way. We found $100,000 worth of silver hidden in the walls, silver and plates hidden in the walls. Just different things, and the Americans in 45 years never found them.
There was a lot of experiences that we had. There was, you know, feeling touched, the brush of the cloth for me, you know, the photos, the pendulum, the footage disappearing.
I'd say it's pretty safe to say that the Kiwatin is haunted.
And I can't wait to go back again.
Thanks for joining us on this investigation.
Don't forget to follow us on social media for the latest updates, behind-the-scene photos, and exclusive videos.
There's something here. I don't know what it is. I don't really call it haunted, but there's something, definitely.